Hi, in this video I want to show you how to get started using mimoLive. There's a lot to learn, so I would say we jump right in. When you first start mimoLive, you will be presented with a new document window. And there are two things you can choose from. The first is on the right hand side, your previously used documents. If you have not used documents before or have not saved documents before, this list will be empty. So in this case, we will just start with a brand new document. And there again are a few options to choose from. So the first option you have to decide what you want to use is the template. By default, blank is selected, but mimoLive also comes with other templates. Blank just holds one camera and is the most basic document to start from scratch. So we will choose blank for today. The next thing to worry about is the frame rate. The frame rate, this depends on where you are in the world. So roughly speaking, 25 frames is great for Europe and most of the world. 30 frames, on the other hand, is common, for example, in the United States. So depending on whether your TV standard is based on 25 or 30 frames, you want to choose the appropriate frame rate. If your use case requires a different frame rate, like 50, 60, or drop frame rates, just choose it from the pop-up over here. So I will go for 25 frames since we're based in Germany. The next selection you have to make is the dimension of your production. You can choose from standard HD resolutions like 720p and 1080p, or you can also choose standard definition resolutions like PAL and NTSC. We also include portrait or vertical video. So if you want to create a vertical video, for example, for the consumption on mobile phones, you want to use one of the portrait presets. If you need a completely different resolution, just go for custom dimensions at the very bottom and enter your own pixel dimensions. mimoLive is not bound to specific standards, but you can use pretty much anything you want. Once you've set up everything, like I just did, all you have to do is click Create New Document. This will create a new document. And right after that, the mimoLive user interface opens. On the very left-hand side, you can see the sources column. In the sources column, you can select cameras, and you can add cameras, just like audio devices, images, videos, and audio files. To add a camera, all you have to do is select the camera from the camera dropdown. In this case, I will choose the FaceTime camera, and the same goes for audio. So I will choose the built-in microphone in this case. So you will see there is already a lot going on because I selected an audio input and a video camera. For the video cameras, you can adjust their settings using the little gear over here. Many cameras will give you the opportunity to choose frame rate and resolution for the camera. The same also goes for audio devices. Some audio devices will give you the option to choose the input and the format. Once you're done with the sources for now, let's jump right to the layer stack right next to it. The layer stack is where you create your document, basically. This is where you add all your graphical elements like videos, a video switcher, like lower thirds, like graphics, text, whatever you might need in your specific document. Once you have a layer selected, right next to it, there are the layer settings. In the layer settings, you can set pretty much everything the layer gives you control over. So in this case, for example, the placer gives you control over its geometry. So I could, for example, crop the placer image. The placer displays pretty much anything from a camera to a video to a graphics file. So depending on the layer, the settings column will show you different settings because every layer has different things to set up. I will show you that in a second once we come to the lower third and the station logo. So right next to the settings, there is the program output. This is the main output of mimoLive. This is what you're recording, this is what you're streaming, or this is what you're playing out to, for example, the stage. Let's enlarge the mimoLive user interface a little bit, and this will also make the program output a lot larger. Like this, you can see what is going on. Right on top of everything, there is the main status display. The status display will give you information about the name of the document, and it will also show you the load of the system. Right now, mimoLive is pretty much not doing anything. This is why we don't see any red or green or yellow dots. But if mimoLive is under more load, you will see the load right there in the little status display up there. Right next to the status display, there is the show control button. With the show control button, you can start and stop the show. Linked to the show control button is by default the record button. So once we start the show, recording is also going to be triggered, which is displayed by the little recording symbol right next to the word start show. You can also link other playback or play out destinations to the show control button. These are, for now, the recording to disk, streaming to the internet, play out using SDI or HDMI, and full screen playback. Once I enable full screen automatically on show start, we will see that this also gets enabled here in the start show button. And this goes for all the other endpoints as well. So I'm done preparing myself for the show. So let's create the actual document. What is missing right now is, as I said before, a station logo. So we have to add a station logo to our production. To do that, I will add another layer. And that's be done by clicking the little plus button right above the layer stack. And now all we have to do is search for what we need. So in this case, we need a logo. So let's type in logo and grab the station logo right over here. So I'm adding the station logo and I'm enabling it. And now we can see it on the right hand side in the program output. If I want to adjust the position, you can just grab the logo and drag it anywhere on the screen where you want it. You can still do it in the settings at the very middle of mimoLive, but most of the visual settings can also be done right in place just by dragging and dropping. The same goes for the lower third. So to add a lower third, we hit the plus button again. We type in lower for lower third. mimoLive found the lower third, and I'm going to add the lower third to my document. So when I now enable it, I can take a look at it. Yeah, well, the name is not quite right, so I will change the name to my actual name. So I'm going in to the settings column and typing in my name. So once I re-enable it, now it actually says my name. The layer concept is something that is most of the users also already known by, for example, graphics applications like Photoshop. So if a layer is above another layer, it's gonna be in front of it visually. To show you what I'm talking about, I will just rearrange layers a little bit. So first, let's make sure the lower third does not turn off. And I will enable the lower third. Once I grab the station logo now and drag it right below the lower third in the layer stack, you will see it's gonna disappear right behind the lower third. And there it is. So now you can still see it a little bit behind the lower third over there. If I drag it back up, it's gonna be visible again. While I'm thinking about it, I think I want to drag the logo a little bit further down. So let's switch the lower third back to automatic so I don't have to think about anything. And I think now I am mentally ready to start my recording. So everything is in there and I have my script in my head and I want to address my audience right now. So all I have to do is hit start show and start greeting my audience. Well, that's totally up to you. Then I maybe want to show my name. So I trigger the lower third and I still keep talking to my audience. And once the lower third is done, my very important message is already over and I can basically stop my recording. All I have to do now is hit stop show. And once I did that, everything is done. I just have to double click the actual recording. And once I hit play, everything is there, recorded in a ProRes format. And you can now re-encode that or share it somewhere. If you want to share it, for example, on Facebook or on Vimeo, you can do that right in the recordings window by using the sharing action. And you can email it, send it over AirDrop, or use Vimeo or Facebook to share it with the world. So that's pretty much how you record and set up your show in mimoLive. If you need more information, just head over to our documentation over at manual.mimo.live. Yeah, there are .live domains now. And just check out the documentation. You will also find it in Boinx Connect on the Boinx website. And if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to email us or to call our technical support staff. So try it out and have fun using mimoLive.